The U.S. government could be heading for a partial shutdown tomorrow. It's up to the Senate to pass a Republican stopgap bill that would keep the lights on through September. But Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Republicans, quote, don't have the votes to pass the bill. Let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns. So, Caitlin, if the Republicans don't have the vote to pass the bill as it was approved by the House of Representatives, do the Democrats have another proposal, another stopgap that could keep the government funded at least for a few months?
Hey, Vlad. Well, welcome to Congress, where they do everything at the last minute. We are once again on the brink of a partial government shutdown. This time, as you mentioned, all eyes are on Democrats and what they'll do. So you mentioned that House Republicans passed their version of the bill. All of Senate Republicans, except for one, Rand Paul, are on board with that plan. But given the breakdown in the Senate, they still need Democrats to vote for this thing in order to pass. They need 60 votes to pass this thing. They're going to need about 8 Democrats here. And so what Democrats have proposed is a shorter-term bill, if you can believe that, for about a month, just to get over and not have a government shutdown and bring everybody back to the negotiating table to work out a deal that both Democrats and Republicans can support. Now, we haven't heard from Republicans saying that they are open to that. In fact, they just want to pass what the House passed. And Vlad, complicating all of this is that the House is out right now. They left town yesterday, and they are not supposed to be back in session. Their thought was, let's pass this bill, kick it over to the Senate will take over. So there is a lot of uncertainty here, and the big question that I have going into today is, do Democrats just figure, let's have a few of our side walk the plank on this so that there's not a government shutdown, and then try to work the messaging on the other side? Or do they take this all the way to the brink? Something that is really fueling some Democrats right now is that their base of support is very angry that they don't have much leverage for legislating at all in this Trump era. So do they try to use this as a point to get some of what they want?
Interesting. And given that the House of Representatives is once again on vacation or taking days off when most Americans can barely get a week of vacation, seems normal to me. Let me ask you about this. If this bill passes as is, would the president sign it?
If it passes as is, yes, he would sign it. And this is what's significant, Vlad, is that the president has played a really key role here in getting this passed. He was whipping up support among House Republicans. He had House Republicans who are not inclined to support these short-term measures over to the White House to say, hey, guys, just get this over with and you can have your bigger budget battles on the next round. And that seemed to work. Republicans only lost 1 vote in the House, which, if you can believe it, that is significant given the makeup of this conference. And so the president was very influential here in getting this done. And there's a reason for that, Vlad. He doesn't want to shut down on his watch right now. Look at the economy right now. Look at the stock market. A shutdown of the government would only inject even more uncertainty for people across the country, really. In the last longer shutdown that we had several years ago when the government was shut down for about 5 weeks, that cost the economy about $3 billion. So this is an economic story as much as it is a congressional one.
Certainly, as you know, Caitlin, Senate Democrats also do not want to be responsible for government shutdown because it hurts everybody. It's not just a political game. But on the flip side, there's reporting that some Democrats feel that this might be the only way to put a brake on some of the things that they're passionate about with regards to what the Department of Government Efficiency is up to in the laying off and the shutting down of various entities across the country in the federal government.
That's right. I mean, initially, when they were trying to negotiate a package here, they wanted to put some restraints on how much the president and Elon Musk could do. I mean, that's not something that Republicans would consider at this point for obvious political reasons, but that's their argument here. But here's another dynamic, Vlad, that, makes things complicated for Democrats. You have a handful of Senate Democrats who represent a lot of federal workers in D.C. or outside D.C., Virginia, Maryland, et cetera. Do they, this is the kind of squeeze that they're in right now, do they want to furlough, be part of a situation that furloughs federal workers when they're also arguing for those jobs? So a lot of complicated politics here, and I don't anticipate we'll see any resolution until, tomorrow.
Keyword being politics. Caitlin Huey-Burns covering it all for us from the Rotunda. Appreciate it, Caitlin, as always.
Thank you.